Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you Game 2 in a series between Sjow versus Mana. Game 1, just an eye-opener for me, where Mana was able to put down a lot of pressure with early probes and zealots and really punish Sjow for trying to go for a command center first. Command center first, normally a safe option, but somehow Mana was able to show how early aggression with Zealots and Probes could really shut that down. Marines are the most fragile unit, or the tier 1 unit in the game, losing easily to a Zealot, losing easily to two Zerglings, and we'll see what's going to happen here. Sjow spawning as the blue Terran player once more at the 3 o'clock position. Mouse forces Mana spawning here as the green Protoss. So Protoss versus Terran here on Shattered Temple, and we'll see what will happen. Now, excuse me. Now, we'll see what strategies Mana will come up with. Mana actually opting to go for a 12 scout, but hasn't really warped in his gateway just quite yet. He wants to make sure that his opponent is not able to wall off. But Sjow, even though he did take a very aggressive play by Mana in game 1, is opting not to do a wall in here. Now, the general strategy or the general consensus as of late has been for Terran players to really wall off their ramp. Zealots do cause a bit of a problem, and a zealot followed by a chrono boosted stalker normally arrive to the front door of your opponent's base at about the same time. You're going to see that this one probe will be able to make its way over here in just a moment, but the Marine will be able to be trained and perhaps push back this probe. We're going to see the barracks standard refinery. Perhaps we will even add on a tech lab or add in a second supply depot. A second supply depot followed by a factory, also very common as well, as this probe just going to wander around on the inside. Upgrading to an orbital command at 17 food instead of the normal 16, as the front door now finally being established. So far, we see that the Cybernetic core has been warped in, or is warping in. We do not see any zealots coming in yet from Mana, so no truly aggressive play being shown, as we are going into a second assimilator. So a very fast second gas shows that we will be either going into a 1-gate expand with sentries, or a very tech heavy option, and we'll see which one of these two options it will be. Chrono boosting out that stalker now. Warp gate research now being started. No zealots, so it's not going to be any early aggressive play. Sjow will be able to finish off this wall-in of supply depots, as the probe now wandering around, perhaps trying to find this SCV. The probe looks like it will be able to return home. And what is this probe going to do? Stalker now making its way down, and we are going into sentries now. So training sentries the old-fashioned way, and training up 2 sentries a minute only causes you to lose about 100 minerals. So this probe could easily make its way down the ramp and perhaps harvest 1 round of minerals and then warp in that nexus. So yes, it is going to be a nexus, a 1-gate expand, and then followed by with a whole bunch of sentries to act as defense. Meanwhile, we are going into a Hellion 1-1-1 play by Sjow. The reactor is a little bit delayed here if he wants to try to go into... what the heck? How is this... Where is his other... Okay. Never mind. I was watching the progress bar, and I was like, how is it possible that the factory is behind here? But it's not actually behind. The factory was training the Hellion. Starport was training the Medevac. Marines are now being added, and it looks like it's going to try to be a cover fire drop. The cover fire drop, effective, as there is normally only a lot of sentries and not nearly as many stalkers. The Hellion now trying to battle it up against some probes. However, it will get taken down very easily by a sentry there. The sentry actually has an easier time attacking than a Hellion, as the Hellion kind of needs to stop for about a good good second before it actually attacks. It is going to be that cover fire drop. We see that there are going to be 8 Marines and 2 Hellions. Where are these units going to go? You can see that they are coming across the side here. The probe in the center will get taken down, as the probes are now making their way over here to the natural expansion. the probe at the Zonaga Tower was easily destroyed, and this is actually going to force Mana to make his way down here to the low ground. Now, if this strategy holds true, Sjow would be able to elevator these 3 Hellions inside the base. And now here we go. We have an engagement. Marines engaging against Stalkers. The Marines need to back off. And what is happening here? The Marines perhaps not working all too well, but Sjow is going to try to execute this drop now, dropping in 3 Hellions as the Marines pretty much getting eaten apart or torn apart by all of those Stalkers. Hellions now deciding to come in. One probe does get taken down. Are we going to get a very nice line? Yes, we do get a very nice line. Probes are getting destroyed. Only 8 up to 9 probes now, as the medevac quickly going to get focused down first. The Hellions do go for a retreat. The force field's not in time. The Hellion may perhaps be able to get off another kill there. Yes. And how many workers were destroyed? 11 workers. 28 SCVs versus 25 probes. And even though a lot of damage was dealt, Mana still has the lead. He has 46 food versus 40. And also, if you take a look at it, the worker count 27 versus 28. And Sjow has yet to train a single SCV off of this command center. Banshee now looking to come in, but there is currently no cloak underway as the Stalkers are now making their way out across the map. There are a decent number of Marines. Medevac now being added. There is going to be one observer here keeping track of all of this. The Stalkers are now going to try to engage against those Marines. The Marines are battling it up, but the Stalkers are simply going to be able to outrange them. More Marines need to be added as the supply depots are going to get taken down, but in comes the Banshee. The Banshee now looking to finish what the Hellions had gotten started, and some damage is being dealt, but the Stalkers are now on the low ground, now need to make their way back up to the high ground. Stalkers engaging back over here as well. Marines now trying to make their way over. Supply depots look like they will get burnt down, and how much damage can be dealt? The Stalkers going after the Banshees. The Stalker will get taken now, and the Banshee winning this war here. Still, though, the Stalkers are able to cancel or force the orbital command to lift back off, and this is not looking good. The Stalkers, small engagements here by Mana, who seems to really enjoy small engagements, really microing his units and getting a lot out of them. Sjow now in trouble as the Marines are going to now once again try to engage. The Stalkers are backing off, trying to use a little bit of that stutter step and constantly pulling away. You can see that there's currently one Banshee. The Banshee does have 9 kills, but the probe does get taken down, and it is revealing itself here. The Banshee gets taken down just because it starts attacking from the high ground. Orbital command now taking a beating once more, and now we see there are going to be Marines coming back. There are 2 medevacs, but with no stim and no Marauders in this group, Sjow really unable to fight this back, as we now see a 16 food advantage, and Mana now with 35 probes compared to 30, even though the worker kill count is 20. Somehow Sjow has taken out 20 workers, but Mana still has more. Taking a look at the total losses, Sjow has lost more so far. The Marauders are now making their way out. We do have sentries coming in, and where are those force fields? Force fields, Guardian shields, Marines, and Marauders all just caught in this pocket here, but a very nice hot pickup. Picking up all of those units. The one very over-eager sentry needs to back off a little bit. And now what is going to happen? Stalker's going to engage again. Marines quickly going after that sentry. Stalker's going to engage. SCV's coming off the mineral line once more. The Marauders doing a great job, but the Marauders do not have concussive shell. Stalkers utilizing that superior range and their faster movement speed to deal more damage, as Mana now takes a 3rd base. So Mana opening up my eyes and just really showing a new side of Protoss. Protoss has recently been, let me try to set up as many expansions as possible, and then just attack you with a very superior tech army, and just deal a lot of damage that way. But that is definitely not the case here, as Mana has dealt a lot of damage with relatively small armies, and now he's going to have to be on the defensive end. Sjow, thinking that things are fairly even. He does not know how far behind he is, but he is ahead in terms of, no, he is not even ahead in terms of his army. He's behind in workers by 10, And we'll see what's going to be happening here. There's a scanner sweep. It looks like the observer will be taken out. A factory does not spot any of the stalkers down here, as the stalkers are now going to take the long route and the long way back home. Marines and Marauders do have stim, and they do have combat shield, and this is not looking good. One stalker down, two stalkers down. Colossus on the high ground though, and the Colossus without extended thermal lance range will have to try to force this attack back. There are two Vikings in this group. Sjow looking to finish the job perhaps thinking that there isn't as much of a large army, but Mana already having a third base established could start mining off of this base and getting up a very strong economy. So far, we have 2 Vikings, 3 Marauders, and 4 Marines being trained at a time. That definitely means we need to get a lot more supply depots. Stalkers now looking to engage, gonna take down one of those Marines, and not quite sure why Sjow decided not to engage at this point. He does have a decent sized army, and there was only 1 sentry in that group. He could have sized it up, but perhaps he didn't like the Colossus. The one Colossus, he would not know when extended thermal lance would come online, and he needed to be careful. But this is going to give Mana a lot of room to maneuver, and he's going to be able to set up a 4th base, perhaps a nexus at the gold mineral patch here. And you already see Mana had transferred some probes off to the 11 o'clock natural expansion. So when a Protoss player takes a 3rd base well before a Terran, that is a definite sign that Protoss is in the lead. So far, it looks as though Sjow does have a slightly larger mineral army. Income shows that Protoss is higher, almost double in gas, as the refineries are now finally being established here. This is mainly a Marine army, as there are only a couple of Vikings, and now the Medivacs making their way around. The destructible rocks have been cleared, perhaps Sjow thinking that he had forced a cancel on the Nexus, and thinking that perhaps he has a much stronger advantage. Command center now going to be landing at the gold, perhaps turning into a planetary fortress. I don't know if I quite agree with that. Colossi are already out with extended thermal lance range. That will fall relatively quickly. Mana now attempting to chrono boost out level 1 weapons and armor upgrades, also getting in Zealot charge. That is being chrono boosted out as well. So we are going to have a very superior tech army here from the Protoss in just a matter of seconds, and things are going to go from bad to worse for Sjow. Sjow is still in this game. He is only down by 9 food, but it really feels like Mana has been dominating the majority of the game. If you take a look at the army now, we're finally evened up on gas, and now Sjow has taken the lead in terms of the minerals. Production tab going in a 3rd or 4th Colossi or 5th one, also getting in some more stalkers. Level 2 ground armor now being researched, in addition to perhaps level 2 weapons in just a second. Zealot charge about to complete. That another Colossus being added. We will have 4 Colossi here. That factory has been floating around, but still doesn't know about this Nexus at the 11 o'clock position, as now we see Mana establishing his own gold. Sjow upgrading to an orbital command. I agree with that. It is a little bit greedy for Terran, but he knows that he cannot hold on to it all too well. Colossi, 4 of them are ready to engage. Vikings are looking to attack here, and now in comes the engagement. Marines, Marauders, force fields are coming in. Zealots do have charge, and the Zealots are causing problems for those Marauders and the Marines, as they are all getting stuck. The Colossi now need to break down these force fields, as the Vikings of Sjow all get destroyed. 2 Colossi still standing. The Marines and Marauders need to run away. The one Medivac does get taken down as well, as in comes the reinforcements. Zealots now flooding in from the north, and Mana should be able to easily replenish all of his units, especially as he now has 2 upgrades more than halfway completed. The Marines and the Marauders now looking to push off over here. SCV is going to engage. SCV is going to be absorbing a lot of that damage. And here we go. Zealots now getting taken down. Vikings going after the Colossi. Is it enough? 1 Colossus down to very low hit points, but the Viking is not focus firing it. Focus firing instead of on the other Colossus. The Marines able to clean up this attack, but a lot of SCVs were lost. 43 worker kills for Mana now, as Sjow now being forced to call in more mules. It is still now going to be 4 bases to 3. Sjow at 86. And taking a look at the army of Sjow is much larger, so Sjow has a very small window of opportunity to completely destroy his opponent. And will he be able to do it is the key question. A Psionic Storm about to be completed, still needs 10 more energy on these High Templars, and if he does get Psi Storm, that may be the equalizing factor, as those Marines and Marauders are already low on hit points. There is one Ghost in this group. EMP could, as long as all of the High Templar are not grouped together, could spell problems. But with only one Ghost, all of these High Templars could just merge into Archons in just a second, as we are now going into 3-3 upgrades. Stalkers now looking to move into the center. Oh, getting completely caught off guard. The Stalkers, another Stalker looks like it will get taken down. Zealots now coming to engage with charge, and now finally backing off. Zealots now slowed. This is not looking good. Mana now giving a little bit of an advantage. And is he gonna? No, he is not going to allow that advantage or just continue to engage while losing more units. 3-3 upgrades about to be completed. Level 2 weapons upgrade now just getting started. So it is a total of 4 completed upgrades against 2, and it will be 6 against 4 in just a second. Now, based upon the timings, and if we are going to be perhaps chrono boosting out the upgrades on these forges, we could have a timing where it's 3-3 against 1-1. Oh, the Stalkers need to be very careful once more. Marauders are using that stim very, very heavily. They got to be careful, and now they are once again backing off. No additional command centers being built by Sjow. 162 versus 168, 36 SCVs, income, more than 600 difference in minerals, and 300 difference in gas. The Marines and the Marauders perhaps now making their way off to the north, perhaps suspecting something is there. No, they're going to try to attack the gold mineral patch, and now what's going to happen? Zealots do spot this group, and yes, it is a snipe onto the units there. In comes some Psi Storm. The units are not baited into attack, and now they are backing off. High Templar, there's some Psi Storm, beautiful Psi Storms coming in as the Zealots are now charging in. The High Templars could get off one more Psi Storm still. Is it going to be enough? That there it is. So much damage across all those Marines. Another Psi Storm to follow it up. And Sjow now with a very, very low hit point units now trying to regroup and regather themselves. Zealots now making another charge. Colossi continuing this push. But now with mana with almost double the food, should be able to finish this, especially with so many Marines, Marauders in the red. Colossi with level 3 armor upgrades and almost level 3 weapons upgrade should be able to slice through all of these SCVs. Needs another 5 seconds, but no, Sjow won't allow it, giving the GG. So really well played by Mana. Sjow was able to catch back up, and it really felt like Mana was weak for the last 3-4 minutes. Perhaps if we're engaging Sjow, however, constantly using stim, his Marines and Marauders started to get low on hit points, and because he didn't have enough ghosts, his ghosts started to get feedback. He couldn't really deal with the Psi Storm. That Psi Storm, 2 to 3 hits on such a low hit point bio army was enough to force him to run. And in a Terran versus Protoss matchup, whoever has to run is usually the loser in that battle, and in this case the war. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 2 in this best of 3 series. Mana taking 2 games from Sjow.